Hello, my friends. My name is Darren Gerdes, and this is the Daily Brief. 1,040 Russians off the battlefield, so it's ticked up again. We just passed 475,000 Russians off the battlefield. So that's absolutely amazing to me. Andrew Perpetua can detect, he looks at all the footage that he can find to determine losses on both sides, and it's about evenly split yesterday. A big issue was that Russian strikes cut power for nearly 500,000 homes in Ukraine. That's not good. And a bigger issue is that the Russian military is concentrating in Belgorod and in Kursk and Bryansk. But it looks like what they're doing is trying to concentrate to draw forces away. At the same time, analysts believe that the Russian northern group of forces will not be able to carry out successful offensive operation to capture Kharkiv. The ISW continues to assess that the Russian military lacks the forces necessary to seize the city, but that Russian offensive operations against Kharkiv or Sumy cities would draw and fix Ukrainian forces from other more critical parts of the front line. That seems to be what would be going on there, given the terrain, the woods, that sort of thing. Okay, and here's the bigger story. So Russia will conduct exercises to practically work out the issues of preparation for a non-strategic nuclear weapon drill. And the idea here is that after Macron said what Macron said in France about potentially using soldiers on the battlefield, Putin's nuclear saber rattling, he does this periodically. And now, I've said this before, but if Russia didn't have nuclear weapons, they would have just been pummeled into oblivion like some kind of mob fight on TikTok. I mean, it would have just been ugly. And but they use this, like, this is their high card, and they pull it out all the time. And it's to the point that it doesn't even, like, okay, some people will say the sky is falling and worry about it, but most people are just like, they're not going to do that. There's a red line, they cross this red line, they cross the other red line, they're crossing this red line. Western leaders are infantile morons, said Medvedev. On Monday, the Russian Defense Ministry announced an imminent exercise to test the capability to deploy non-strategic nuclear weapons. It said the training was ordered by President Putin after provocative statements and threats by Western officials. Well, why are you the only one that can make provocative statements? Why, if Macron says it, then you're now somehow offended? Like, you got to be less fragile. Russia will have to respond to the proposed deployment of Western soldiers, and this response will not be in Ukraine, the Russian official warned. In that case, there will, quote, be no hiding on Capitol Hill, in the Elysee Palace, or at 10 Downing Street. Okay. He said the current Western elites were infantile morons who refused to see the risk, unlike President John F. Kennedy and Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev, who managed to walk back the escalation 6 days ago. Yeah, but you actually invaded your neighbor. That's the difference. So you're saying you're morons because you're not doing what they did, but you invaded. Like, okay, anyway. Okay, the test of the new version of the Ukraine Sea Baby Naval Drone has new designs. It can travel up to 1,000 kilometers. The design will allow it to have installation of modules for firing it at coastal targets. There's also the possibility of installing air defense. And I saw a video that looked like it actually had air defense in it. And I'm not showing that particular video. This guy's just driving around in the ocean. But there was also this video, and I'm not showing it, but this was a target. A Magura V5C drone destroyed a Russian speedboat temporarily occupied Crimea. My guess is that they were hunting for bigger prey, couldn't find or couldn't attack the bigger prey, and so they settled on this Russian speedboat. And yeah, it's a military, and like when you get close enough to it, you'll see like military cargo netting on it and stuff. So that's my guess, but it's only a guess. I can't verify that. Maybe they were hunting this speedboat the whole time. I don't know. Okay, this is fascinating. Following the arrest of Shoigu's deputy, Timur Ivanov, Russian military correspondents speculate that this guy, Dumin, might replace Shoigu as Russian defense minister, and Surovikin was the guy that created the defensive lines. He was on the outs for some time with Putin after the whatever it was that Prigozhin did, the Freedom March or the coup, however you describe it. Surovikin might be appointed chief of the general staff instead of Gerasimov on May 7th. So again, that's speculative. It comes from Anton Gerashenko, so it seems pretty legit, but it is speculative. Today's the 6th. We'll see what happens after tomorrow. Okay, finally, I want to say thank you to you for being willing to watch all these videos, to be with me for as long as you have. I'm curious how long you think you've been watching my channel. I know there's been an uptick lately, so some of you are new, but if you could put that in the comments below, I'd like to know just how long you've been with me, if you can kind of guesstimate. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes. Thank you to my board members. I should never pronounce anybody's names, because even the next this other guy, Villains, I pronounced it violence yesterday. Like, I'm not going to mispronounce it, but of course I mispronounced it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.